Oh, we actually have to do stuff here, Anthony.
At some point, somebody's going to ask me, well, how do you justify your existence? And I got to say, well, I hit the record button.
Is it me or is he
Oh,
choppy or is it?
he's very choppy. He's choppy choppy.
Okay. What's that, Enrique? I like that. Do we
He's
have
going
Sorry, I
up and
lost
down.
my mouse and I couldn't unmute. It sounds like he's in waves or something. It's just like just
uh
kind of going up and down.
got it. Hey, well, today we can just be absolutely naughty, Tina. This is the entire executive team's away. Just me, Ben, and Anthony. We can do whatever we want, although it's being recorded, unfortunately.
Let me pause that recording.
Maybe I can show you guys my new SaaS Alerts underwear that they sent.
I'm gonna go crazy with my stapler here.
Or my right boom, I should say.
We're sending that out. We'll give you a free subscription, Tina. Oh my gosh. Well, good to see everybody. Anthony, is everybody in so far?
Yeah, so far so good.
So far, so good. Okay. All right. So it's 3 past. All right, let's kick it on off here. And let me get my trusty PowerPoint. Do we have any of the team like from Dev with us at all? Ben, I believe Leron is down in Miami.
Amanda's here.
Amanda's here. Okay, awesome. Amanda, anything from you, by the way, today, or from Adam? I reached out to Leron, but I didn't hear back.
No, nothing this week.
Nothing. Okay, and is Adam here?
I'm here. I'm sure there's something I could have talked about if I were prepared, but I wasn't prepared. So let's just assume there's nothing.
All right. Well, why don't we just do an Adam Wing It session? Anything you want to know crazy from Adam?
Adam, when will everything be ready?
Everything will be ready someday. You're welcome, Enrique.
Everything will be ready someday. I like that. All right. So I didn't know who is going to be here. So we'll start off with Mr. Ben. Ben, anything wicked crazy coming out of MSA this week or today for that matter?
No more than usual. I mean, we still see a lot of oh, there's one thing. So we saw one of our partners brought us the a whole bunch of triggers happened with our adversary in the middle rule, the one that looks for the Axios agent, which I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I mean, let's check it out. And it was a whole bunch of failed login attempts from a completely different data center, but one that we recognize. I think was a M247 or a 347, something like that, and using the same Axios agent, and I thought that was interesting because instead of using their software to steal tokens, they've kind of rewritten, I guess, maybe it's a different software, same technology, still kind of same malicious intent. So we've had to make some adjustments to that rule to exclude brute force attacks, which is basically what's happened. It's not necessarily that like they have gained any sort of control or over the account. It's just they're trying to get in there using similar technology. So I thought that was interesting.
Interesting. Anybody dealing with those on the call?
Ben, are we dealing with those at all?
I don't think you guys are. It's not everybody. It's just it's certain certain accounts, and it's just getting started, I think. So
Got it.
yeah.
Got it. Tina, any news since your last thing? I remember, right, we didn't something new happen, but we talked about the bulletin board. That was a while back, but then didn't something new occur that you guys also thwarted like last week or?
2 weeks ago, yeah, we had misclassified
Oh,
IP
that's
address by Microsoft, and
that's
they're actually still working on that. Obviously, the general response is that we use all kinds of different input to decide on where an IP address is coming from. So too bad, so sad, whatever, we missed it. But I followed up with them to see about the I think it was the anomalous token alert. Oh no, I asked them to look into why they didn't flag Fort St. John in Toronto, which is 4,000 kilometers away, as a risky sign-on as well, because later on I think about 12 hours later, they did flag and send an alert on anomalous token based on those two locations. But of course it was 12 hours later, 24 hours later, so not helpful at all. So they're still investigating, but I don't think that we're gonna get anything out of them. But I'll let you know when they complete their investigation.
Got it. Very cool. Others, who else had something this week? Exciting to talk about. Could be, it doesn't all have to be dark and gray and
Rich had something in chat.
what do you
He
got,
said
Rich?
he had a do you want to talk, Rich, or do you mean just
Yeah, I got
background
it.
noise? Cool.
So it was our client that got his account compromised. And when he sent me the mail, it was a normal bidding email that they normally work with this company that they do bids with. And they were in the middle of a bidding exchange. The email had everything in it was genuine. The sender, the content was on target for what was happening. But the bid was saying, hey, you're on the short list, and we need to sign this document to get more details. And the guy clicked on it, signed it. It was a Microsoft thing, and then SaaS caught the bad sign-ins after that. It all happened within a couple of minutes. But when I looked over this document, what I noticed was that the signature of the person, everything on the signature was genuine except one number and the phone number was changed. So we, as a courtesy call, I tried to call the person using the main web number to let them know that an email that looks like it came from them, had a compromised link in it. I never heard back from them, and somebody must have been in this person's account or somehow was able to mimic a genuine email. But it was kind of creepy because the guy said that they were in the middle of a bidding discussion with these people. So I got an idea the hacker's sitting on this other third-party company site and sending out phishing stuff.
Yeah, reading he's sitting in the mailbox.
The signature was in the mailbox. The sender email address was correct. The dialogue was correct, and what the context was going on. It made me wonder whether the guy pulled another previous bidding email and just kind of torqued it a little bit, and then inserted the bad link in there, or something.
Yeah. No, I'm saying it sounds like the actual email account is compromised.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. And then Rich, when the person signed it, did it in essence download any malware, or what was upon signing? What did
When I blew the link up that was in there for the secure document, and went to a site called Crony Trades, which is some Asian site, and then it brought up the Microsoft lookalike sign in.
Okay.
And it's funny because the sign in, when you clicked on create a new account or I forgot my password, none of those things worked. But once you did the Microsoft sign in, then of course it captured everything.
Okay.
But
So that's
an average user who was doing normal bidding emails and following the same procedure, it looked genuine. I don't know if they used this secure document site it wasn't DocuSign, it was some other secure document site, but it looked genuine.
wow. So when he signed it, that's the trigger that you got the notification. But if it didn't, it would have taken him probably to the M3.
Yeah, within minutes, within minutes, somebody actually signed in from California, Georgia, using all the bad ASNs, that SaaS looks for, and risky sign in from Microsoft. So a whole bag of things got triggered.
Wow. So did they in essence get his token?
They got his token. We revoked everything and changed his password just in case they scooped his password up too. So we watched for sign-ins afterwards, and they attempted a couple more times but failed. So
oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, SaaS was great because within a couple minutes we got the alerts and we were able to squash it pretty fast. So
that's fantastic. Good. Who else? Thanks for sharing that, Rich. That's great. Anyone else have some stuff? Did I hear somebody or not? No? All right. All right, moving on. Let's see what we got. Okay, Ben, I'm just going to address this one more time in hopes that I at least get one or two people to give some, some other than this is a good, just cursory yes, no's. So again, I'm going to just bring this up in the sense of, being able to take a course, a SaaS Alerts course at no charge and, go through the entire, being like if you were working for Ben, call it a 2.5 hour course where you, at the end of it, and we go through some tabletop scenarios. This threat came in. We've got to create this IOC respond rule, etc. Can you give us just kind of some, Jason? Thanks, man. Sign me up. He likes it. Okay. Anyone have thoughts on that for would it be, Jason, and maybe if I could just, beside your sign me up, what entices you about it? Is it something that, you feel, hey, it adds value to you personally, to the company? I'd love to just get, if you don't mind sharing a little bit.
I'm probably not taking or getting as much out of the product as I probably could be. And I think having Ben or somebody sit down and go over everything with me again will be huge for my company.
Okay.
We're catching things. So the setup is great, but I'm sure there's a lot more we could be doing that I'm not smart enough to figure out myself.
Got it. Okay. Okay, and that's so general feeling. It's like, yeah, Ben. So it's helpful, Ben. The reason I just wanted to get into the mind of a few people, and please, anybody else, I'd love to chime in. Is kind of how we position it too, Ben, right? How are you getting the most out of your SaaS Alerts platform? We want to help, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah. I think I learned best by, doing and just having people, in the platform doing the same things that we would be doing, I think is really a way to cement the knowledge.
Yeah. And the other thing that I'm excited about, Ben, is just kind of going through like, hey, we just got this alert. There's no IOC for it right now in SaaS Alerts. And probably by the time we do this, Ben, there's going to be a lot of enrichment
Yeah.
coming from KSIM for those that are using KSIM and other products, right? And the ability to utilize that data.
I'm sure it'll be completely different than the way it is now. Like with all the things that I've seen we're planning,
Got it.
lots of really good stuff. But yeah, I'm excited to do the class. I'm also excited to spend some time at Ride and Boom. I haven't been there in a couple of years, and I really enjoyed it. It was like my first show that I ever officially went to when I was at my MSP. So Ride and Boom won over DEF CON. So I was like, they said you had to choose which one. I'm like, I think I'm gonna pick up a lot more education from Ride and Boom, and I did.
Good. Thanks. All right. Okay, Gary, are you on still? Harlan?
Yep.
Hey, Gary, I know you sent me this, and I know this is more, I take this more as a marketing, but it was just interesting. Like, is that how you took this one? You'd sent this over to me that it was.
It was mentioned last week, which is really the only reason I sent it over, but I've probably had half a dozen of those in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah. And what's dangerous, I think, about this, Gary, air quoting the term dangerous, is threat actors are realizing that marketing, sales and marketing people are starting to use this as a mechanism, right? Hey, it's on my calendar, I'll show up. And this is where I could see, Ben, I don't know about your thoughts, but I could definitely see macros and things being embedded in some of these calendaring links. What are your thoughts on where this could go?
I just think it's a great way to gather information about live accounts that have actual people behind them. And that information right there is valuable. And the fact that they'll click on things And
that was the thing is like, Andy, I think you mentioned last week that you rejected it and got a non-delivery.
Yeah,
My
exactly.
bet is they could probably detect that action.
oh yeah, Outlook emails that shoots the rejection email right back to the address.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. So it's basically a reconnaissance tool to a
Oh
degree.
yeah, great recon.
Yeah. So like who's live, and
Yeah, you can blast out a whole like thousands of emails and not know that they actually had any sort of impact or who's actually an actual account. But this is a great way to find that out, especially if it's one that you're like, no, I don't know this person, delete, and it's just confirmed that you're actually there. It's like hitting the report spam button on an email. It's like people say, don't do that because it just confirms that you are actually a real
So
person.
wait, Ben, you actually think they get a notification when it's deleted?
If it was
Like opened
rejected,
or responded to, sure, or not open, but accepted or declined.
I think declined and accepted definitely. Deleted, I would have to. I would hope not.
Right.
But if you delete it, does that decline it as well?
Oh no, it's an interesting question.
Well, we could say, yeah, Gary, send me a calendar invite, and I'll delete it.
I'm done with rejections for this week. I've already gotten enough. And let's see, test.
Ronald, was yours a marketing one, or was yours a potential threat actor? Because mine that I
I
showed.
have no idea what the answer is. I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, no, I'm asking. So Ronald said I got the
gotcha. Oh, I got
the exact one. So Ronald, is yours from the same? Oh, I'm sorry. So yours is the exact same one we're showing. Okay. When you delete it, I believe you're prompted to respond to the organizer. Hold on, Gary.
I thought so. Invite attendee. Here we go.
Okay, I'll wait for it to come and then I'll do it.
Yeah.
Warren, let's discuss all following. Oh, okay. Interesting. So anyway, I just wanted people to be aware of this. This is a growing, I think, as Ben calls it, way to do recon. So your average user, your clients, to educate them on what's behind this. That this may not be the actual threat, but and this is like, Ben, if you think about I shouldn't say all, many compromises, there's stages.
Yeah, it's a precursor. Yeah.
Right. It's recons, you have an access workers, recon, right? And there's actually can I show you guys something do you mind if I show you something real quick and tell me if you guys would like this? I'm happy to send it to you. I did this live at Schnizzfest. Gary, I think you were there for this.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago. We did live cyber call with Gary. Just bear with me, guys.
Sounds familiar.
Okay. Apologies, everybody. Let me try this one more time. Say hello for me, Gary. Can you guys see this, by the way?
Got it.
This in, out, through. Let me know if this is helpful for you guys for, education, webinars, whatever. But this is probably one of the best visuals I've ever seen on the cybercrime ecosystem. Because a lot of people think that a threat actor is, doing all these pieces. And they're not. Now, I'm not saying a novice isn't, but this is a very, very well thought out ecosystem of who does what and how they do their exploits, how they get their money, et cetera, et cetera. So Ben, have you seen this before?
I don't think so. If I have, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's really well done to talk about how the ecosystem works. So I'm happy to send that over to y'all if you'd like it. Just seeing if there's. Okay, Gary, you sent me that, correct?
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you get it? No.
I got it. Okay, so I'm just going to delete versus decline, correct?
Yep.
It's delete. I deleted. Let me know if you get any notification.
Sometime by tomorrow, I should get it.
I think I'm blocked in your spam. I go right to knowing our relationship. I'm going right somewhere to a folder.
Something like that.
Yeah. So I'm going to just beat this drum again because it's fun to do, supply chain, and we talk about this probably 3 weeks in a row now. I just want to show you one that is certainly near and dear to my heart, and according to Tina, maybe hers as well today. But in all seriousness, so this is one, I don't know if you guys saw this, but it again shows the disruption that threat actors are going after, right? So basically supply chain and one to many, right? And so Victoria's Secret and their pink sites and everything, a large portion of it had to come down earlier this week. Ben, it definitely interrupted my shopping, for the week. But I mean, think about the economic impact, right? To to a Victoria's Secret, right? Or any e-commerce site. And that's why I asked, like I think I said Andy did, because I brought up the DDoS one about 3 weeks ago, Ben, and I said, hey, does anybody have customers where websites are critical to their business? And Andy raised his hand. Yeah, Mike, I
It's like,
but,
you don't need to spend all that money. Well, I
yeah.
think it's funny how many of these sites, like these big professional sites, are a lot of times running off of like WordPress and everything. It's like they're
True.
just such easy targets.
True. Okay. Well, again, it was just really more of the continuation of what's going on. Is this? Oh, so here's something I saw. I just wanted to get your thoughts. This is where I need your input. Raise your hand, comment. How do you guys feel about this? Australia became the first country to require disclosure of ransomware payments by law. Ben, I'll start with you to kind of kick this off. How do you feel about this? Obviously this is an N of one, it's one country, but how do you feel about, mandatory disclosure of, payments to get your company back online?
Oh,
Is the
definitely.
requirement only for payments or for infection?
Looks like payments.
Payments, Gary. This is payments. So let's just say the US all of a sudden said, you know what, Gary, your MSP's down, you paid the ransom, you have to
I
now.
almost think it defeats the whole purpose. You don't want to advertise the fact that they were successful.
Yeah. Now I don't know how like is this going to be disclosed to everybody because so and so was compromised and you're disclosing it to this government? That's what I think the point you're making. Like, is this now going to be in a database somewhere?
The primary question, Andrew, is what is it for? What is the information going to be used for?
Cybercrime is
everywhere. It's a great rhetorical question, Enrique. I just, I don't know the answer. I just wanted to bring it to y'all attention that, oftentimes when things like this start in one country, they go to other countries. So do you have any sense, Enrique? You've been involved a lot in government, and got a really good insight. So what are your thoughts?
Well, I also paid a big ransom. And
Right.
to me, it's I know the FBI, one of the reasons you want to report, but besides the crime, is if they ever seize assets or money from whoever the attackers were, they try to make you good on part of your money based on how you report and things like that. But on this one, I just took a snippet and was gonna chat GPT it to see more in depth what it's about, what's their purpose. I think it's good information to have privately as like the government, not to publish it out, because it gives you a sense of awareness how your country is doing versus maybe other countries, different opportunities with the information. But the big thing is what is it for?
And as we know, Enrique, our governments would never get compromised. We don't have to worry about the data ever getting
Oh,
leaked.
no, 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 no. It's going to meet every single compliance. They're using Purview as well. So
Okay. Here's one I want you to all to be aware of. This is going to lead into something that is I'll tell you in a second because it's kind of a personal thing. A good friend of mine. What I wanted to show you the reason now this crocodilius malware is certain is there's a few things I wanted to make note of to everybody. First of all, it's focused on Android. It's focused on where is it Android? Yeah, Android 13. So a few things about this. You'll notice this banking Trojan. More and more of us are doing, right? We use our phones for online banking and apps and things like that. Fair, Ben? Like not uncommon. And if you look at the way in which this attack is fabricated, a lot of us use social media. So what this attacker is doing is creating ads that, based on, your demographic that you'd more than likely click on. It might be a banking thing, etc. And then it's doing what, most malware does, which is, takes, info stealing and things of that nature and, tokens and things of that nature. But I just wanted everybody to be aware of this. It is coming to, it has been seen in the US, but it is something that is just something to be aware of. And the reason I wanted to kind of lead in, has anybody dealt with kind of these things, these malicious ads in Facebook or that are actually not real? Anybody?
Yeah, when you can pay pretty much you can pay like these Google and Facebook and just add ad revenue and just add money and get your stuff up there. It's really easy to spread this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen a
we've
lot
seen
of
it
fake
very
ads.
common with Google App
Yeah.
Manager, which is why
Oh
we blocked
yeah.
it.
Yeah. So this is going to lead into one that's at a personal level because a very good friend of mine just had this happen, and I want to make sure you all are aware of this. Anybody, just quick show of hands, anybody trading crypto or bought crypto, right? Okay. A friend of mine, a very good friend, I feel, and he's, an older gentleman. I set up his account with MFA. He, unbeknownst to him, had info stealing malware on his computer. Logs into his Kraken account with his MFA. The info stealing malware obviously knows exactly when he's doing, where are the sites he's going to, right? Real time. So picture this, Enrique. He logs in, and as he logs in, oops, that's not what I wanted to show you. As he logs in, even though he doesn't realize this, he gets a pop-up, which is, hey, your account's been frozen. You need to click this to talk to customer service. Now, most of us on this call would go, hey, this is a little fishy. The interesting thing about this attack, and I want you all to be aware of, is 3 times in a row after opening up his account, he actually did get real. After he would do a trade, they would not let him trade again, and he'd have to call customer service. Now, what info stealing malware does is it's recording all the things that are happening. So they understand that he's called customer service several times about this. And then they use the ruse in which he's actually had to do. Therefore, he clicks on the contact customer service. Voice comes on, says, hey, your account's been frozen. We see that, your ID isn't there. And of course, he's like, yeah, but my ID is there, but falls for it. The threat actor, even though he thinks it's customer service, says, I need you to log out, log back in. Well, we heard it already today with Rich's scenario in that ruse was click this signature. What did they do as soon as he logged out and logged back in? What did they have?
All his credentials.
His session. They wrote in on his session. They transacted the rest of his funds. He had XRP. They transacted the rest of it in XRP. They exfilled all his XRP out of his account. I did get him in touch with a forensics expert. They did track down the account. They do know where the funds are. They're working with the local governments to seize them in the event when they're moved. But I did want you all to be aware of this very common, very, very common now that I found out in talking to this forensics specialist in crypto. Go ahead, Enrique.
I just wanted to ask if that's possible. You could share offline or whatever that forensic expert in crypto, because I believe this will definitely be something that we're going to start seeing, unfortunately, more and more.
It's rampant right now. It is absolutely rampant. The guy told us, or told him, Enrique, that this group's out of Malaysia and they are wreaking havoc right now with people. So yeah, just be really, really careful about any type of crypto trading.
I think everyone underestimates having protection on mobile phones. We use Lookout and Checkpoint Harmony Mobile, and everyone says it's exaggeration. They make fun of me, like, what else are you going to protect? Your shoes? And I'm like, your mobile phone carries all your information. It carries your authenticator, your duo, whatever you're using, your keeper. It carries everything. And it's just, I think everyone should have their mobile phone protected.
I couldn't agree more. Enrique, look, we know why, for example, when you go to a lot of these areas, like why, people are just stealing phones, right? And then, locking, you out of your phone right away because, they'll look for somebody on their phone where it's active.
Yeah.
And then, decommission your Find My Phone and all those, things that allow you to do any type of reconnaissance on that phone and or SIM swap it or whatever it may be. So anyway,
I think just like identity is a big factor now more than the actual device, I think the device is going to shift a lot to the mobile phone.
I mean, you've nailed it. I mean, it is the identity source for so many things. So anyway, didn't mean to get everybody down. I just wanted you to feel the real pain that this gentleman is feeling right now, to let you know of how real and prevalent this attack is. Even, like I said, even with putting on, MFA, their ruse was that good, to get him.
These hurt.
They do. They sting bad, but okay. Ben, am I missing anything in chat so far? or should I continue?
Oh, you're good.
Saw a really interesting report. Are you guys familiar with the organization Cloud Security Alliance? It's a nonprofit, a really, really good one. I'll put the link of this in the in chat. They have some fantastic stuff. They're going, like, think of them as like a Center for Internet Security. In fact, they have a very strong relationship with CIS. CIS version 8, Ben, if you recall, they're they have an area in it on SaaS, and a huge portion of it was provided by Cloud Security Alliance. But they came out with a state of SaaS security report. And the reason I really wanted you guys to see this is it so falls in line with all the good work you're doing. And not to meant to be placating, all of you on this call that are using tools like SaaS Alerts, all the good work that Amanda and Adam and the team and Ben are doing. So here's what I wanted to show you. So the key findings of the report, right, was that, if you think about this, it was about 450 companies that reported, and they were, organizations, not MSPs, but you'll see that it falls really in line, I think, and I'm going to ask you guys the question that, they said, hey, is SaaS security, did you see it as a high priority, right? Gary, let me just ask you, over the last year or so, or 2 years, had SaaS security seemingly more important for you than it was 3 years ago, 2 years ago?
It's interesting. It depends on who you ask. For us, it's very high on our list. Convincing our clients it's important is a different problem. A lot of people still don't listen to the MFA conversation. It'll never happen to me, or there's nothing important in there or any of that. But ultimately, that's why we included SaaS Alerts in our stack. It didn't give people the option to say no.
Got it. And that's a your fair point about downstream, how they view it. I just meant for you personally, has SaaS.
Yeah. Hey, listen, when we saw what the product was going to start delivering years ago, I hopped on that bandwagon because I saw the value and believed in it tremendously. Now, there are other tools out there that are doing some subset of it. I haven't looked at any of them, honestly, just because, with what we've got and what we've got invested and the support around it, I have no interest in replacing it.
Very cool. Yeah. So no, and I appreciate you sharing. So you can see here that the few things that, I shouldn't say the few, but really, I guess, Ben, the core tenets, right? Threat detection and posture management with Fortify are really like the core tenets, of what SaaS Alerts is delivering, and interestingly falls right in line with what this report said people are these security leaders are also interested in. Sensitive data, no shock. This is the area that, although we're starting to do more around SaaS security, this is the one area, I shouldn't say one, this is an area that is spotlight continuing to be underrated in terms of its, what do I want to say here? The issue with data exfiltration, understanding of where data is, etc. Other gaps are, how many of you, again, Gary, if you could just humor me, how many clients do you have that probably install SaaS apps that don't tell you?
Fewer now. We're starting to turn off the ability for end users to add third-party applications. It's not quite there yet, but there's so many of them. So many people who sign up for name your service and they want to tap into your 365 account.
How are you blocking that, Gary? What are you doing to?
We're disabling there's a spot to disable that functionality. So end users, you need administrative privileges in order to install.
even SaaS
Into 365 at least.
into 360. Yeah, in other words, using your credential, your OAuth. In other words,
Yeah.
Got it.
Now,
Got it.
if you're talking about other SaaS apps, like people moving over, like moving their EMR applications or any of their manufacturing stuff, people make those decisions without necessarily talking to us and say, oh, by the way, we're moving our stuff to the cloud. Can we get rid of our server now?
Yeah, and that's really, Enrique, what I'm talking about, Gary. The report talks about like, hey, we're doing this unrelated to M365 in the cloud, and we're all of a sudden find out about it. But
we got a call the other day. Oh, we're moving tomorrow. Great. Who's the we? You know, has anybody looked at your network? You know, and it's the same thing when they go to a SaaS app. You know, do you know it's going to work the way you want it to do? You need help. Phone systems, copiers, it's all the same stuff.
Enrique.
So going to Gary, that's a very important point why we like to use Microsoft Entra for everything that we can connect it to, because we can do those controls, block and have them request access to the enterprise app or whatever they're trying to register. And that's a great value that many people don't understand. And they get pissed off when you restrict them, but I'm like, it's simple. We're just going to analyze it, reach out, make sure it's you, and authorize it. If it's a business tool you guys are using, we'll authorize it.
Gary, Enrique, can they get around that? Like as an example with they talk a lot about ChatGPT and the other LLMs where they're using a Google account as an example. Is there still a notification you're getting if they try to go outside of it?
I don't care what they do. If it doesn't tie to their 365 account, I don't care. If they want to infect their personal Google account, great. Now, the downside is, yeah, it's on the same computer, and no, we can't. I don't think we can get that restricted.
Yeah, because that's where the data sharing's coming. So
there is some tools out there that have a plugin and an agent that monitor that exactly. It took me a while when I tested them a couple of years ago to understand why the hell would I want that. It sounded like the stupidest thing on earth. And then as it progressed and all these token theft and SaaS application issues, I'm like, oh, they were onto something. Like when I installed it on some of my company's computers, 700.
Wow.
700 SaaS applications, not to Microsoft, just your Facebook, whatever. Anything you register via the web on the portal, it tracks it with those agents they install.
I think it's pretty amazing. Like the number of SaaS applications on an average company has. It's far north of 100.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so these are some of the key findings. They show the priority, and again, this, like I said, this has to, shows the growth, right, of how important SaaS security has become to organizations. Other areas that it talks about is, has your budget changed? Well, obviously, again, on this call, people's budgets have changed. They're spending money with SaaS alerts. I'm curious, Enrique, or anybody, are there other SaaS-based security solutions you guys are investing in now, beyond this?
Yes, to monitor the reputation of SaaS applications, primarily. When we trialed for the first time Checkpoint Harmony SaaS, it was amazing. An application I installed for email, because I'm a big BlackBerry user, and I like the BlackBerry email client, and nothing on iPhone had given me that capability of, I have 172 rules moving emails to 172 folders, and I wanted to see all the email, like BlackBerry, in a sequential order as they arrived, independent of its folder. So I found this great tool. I installed it 20 years ago or 15 years ago. And when I installed Harmony SaaS, and it immediately came back saying like critical, deleted, kill the person that installed it. And I'm like, well, it was me. Because it was not just giving permission to my Exchange web service for Enrique. It was giving it to the whole enterprise, like for every user. And obviously back then, I didn't even dream of being an MSP, much less was I aware of that security risk. Right. So yeah, there's great value in having tools like that allow you to monitor and know exactly not just see, because you could see it and you don't know what it is, actually give you an analysis and say why it's bad.
Yeah, very cool. Andy, good to see you. Welcome. What happened to Andy? He just had his hand up and did he disappear?
I'm here. Sorry, I'm late. 1, 2. I think the browser security, the plugins are big because we had a client who introduced a plugin which we weren't able to see until it went live, and that was Urban VPN. It changed their IP address, and they'd run it from a browser extension. And that impacts security because now they're routing data through something that I believe is taking their data, right? That's just one example. DNS becomes another one. And these might be things that only run within the browser extension itself.
Yeah.
So I'm beginning to see how really SaaS security can be impacted by a protected device, but an unprotected browser because extensions aren't fully managed.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The problem is, how many tools can we support, and to what extent, other than through education, how far do we push this envelope?
Yeah, our clients have unlimited budgets.
Yeah. I wish that were the case.
Hey guys, I want to ask you this question. You're managing, they run this on their cell phone, they run it on their iPad, they run it on their laptop, they run it at the office, whatever it is. These browsers are common across all, and they can be using similar tools across all, and they all have different vulnerabilities that need to be managed. I kind of think we have to find a way to do this effectively.
Yeah.
So 2 things, Andy, on your comment. Rocket Cyber has called us multiple times because all of a sudden a customer is logging in from New Zealand or heaven knows from where. And you reach out to them and we realize it's a VPN because of the IP address it picks up. So we call the customer up and they're like, no, we're not VPNing. Well, someone installed a browser VPN, a browser plugin for a VPN. We've seen that multiple times this year. They're not even aware of what's going on, but thank God we pick it up from that side, on the Rocket Cyber side. But what was your second comment you did, Andy, regarding
saying how the browser is on all their devices, and it's something that needs to be managed because it will impact security as well.
Yeah.
So one of the compromises we had after we had been ransomware and our new environment was compromised as well. One of the tools that happened was a technician logged into a server. He logged into the Google Chrome session, which his Google account was compromised. That Google Chrome session automatically installed Google Remote. So now they have login access to the server.
Raises something additional, Enrique. As MSPs, we have to make sure that whatever extensions are in our browsers, if they ever log in as themselves on a client's device, aren't infecting or contaminating them further. And that's also something to be considerate of.
Yeah. So just a few other things for you guys, and we can wrap it up. This is interesting. Like again, kudos to SaaS Alerts and team Ben. This is, where the top 2 areas where organizations are spending their money in SaaS detection and posture management. And then this was Enrique to why I asked. Are there other areas? And it looks like this is one that you're starting to look at, and just one I'm interested in, that, when you think about any type of framework, right, and inventory being the most crucial in terms of, you can't protect what you don't know. I'm interested to see, 1, what you guys are doing in this area, and 2, if version 9 of CIS is going to change, right? Because they talk about physical inventory. Applications, and SaaS is yet to really make it into control 2. So I'm
about
interested.
Browser extensions into control 2.
You're onto this browser extension thing.
I am.
Well, now today, before you used to program a system, internal system, client server, you had a SQL server, you had a front end client, you would program in Visual Basic or whatever, C++. Now the browser is the front end client for millions of applications that most people use today or will be using tomorrow. So the browser, like Andy says, is that is our highest attack surface, the browser.
Yeah, our identity, right? From a device, yes, the browser. From obviously our identity.
Yeah, identity is number one, but going to the attack surface as to where they can steal this from, the browser.
This area though, this is the where we're falling short. And I think this has been an age-old issue for not just MSPs. Again, when I talked to Phyllis Lee of CIS, where's your data, right? And poor management of data we have, think about it, before SaaS, managing data was a struggle for us with clients. Now throw SaaS on top of it, right? It's I think that much more challenging. And again, to the conversation that we had just a few moments ago with LLMs, and the ability to bypass your Entra and everything, Enrique, by using we're the most prolific way this is happening in corporations is just a Gmail. And then they're using that to take and do their jobs. And the two biggest offenders, I think I've said it on this call, the two biggest offenders being HR and legal right now in corporations, ironically, of using them to do their jobs. So that's the one shortfall. It also goes into where the most significant data, you can see here, this is it here for LLMs and AI tools. But this is kind of the breakdown of it. And lastly, organizations, like as I said, that's shadow IT, for lack of a better word, right? Are things that aren't authenticating with M365 as the mechanism, or is there some type of policy? How are you working with your customers to notify you when they are installing third-party apps?
Actually, Checkpoint or Avanan does a great job on picking up on some different tools and reporting it as shadow IT.
Can they manage all things SaaS, Enrique?
They are focusing on that with an acquisition they did last year. I forget the name of the company, but now it's labeled under Humming SaaS, and that is their goal. But today they're picking up shadow IT based on I guess links and different things that they could monitor.
I got it. Okay. Well, there we go. Any questions, comments? We've got about 5 minutes left, and we can either do a quick round the horn or give you 5 minutes of your day back. You guys let me know what's best.
I'll see you guys next week because I got to run. I got a call in a couple minutes.
Bye, Gary.
All right, bye.
Andrew, did you want to show that website off, or?
Oh, yeah. If people have a minute, I'd love to get your thanks, Ben, for mentioning that.
Sure.
Just love to get your guys' comment on this just for a minute, if you guys could stay.
Of course.
All right. So this is a freebie we are going to add to the Write a Boom website. Just a little backdrop real fast. There's a company that I do that's one of my clients, and they play up in the enterprise security market called Nucleus Security. They do vulnerability management. When I say vulnerability management, MSPs typically think about scanners. They work with the biggest of big companies, and then they have what they do is they ingest scanners from about 200 different companies. So think cloud API scanners, code scanners, on-prem scanners, you name a scanner that looks at vulnerabilities. And they do that work. But one of the big things they do is they have to enhance and enrich that data. And so I talked to the CEO and I'm like, hey, could we get access to your API? I think this could be really helpful for MSPs to be able to create a filter for their stack. So I'll give you an example real quick here. So the idea would be, and again, this isn't done, and I'll turn this over to feedback from you guys in a second, is let's say you could go in here and you could click your typical stack that's important to you. Let's pretend you have Fortinet, you have, this for endpoint, etc., this for PSA, and you can click all your things and apply these filters, and then it would notify you in the event that a critical vulnerability comes up. And the enrichment of this data is pretty amazing. They pull in SysACEV data, EPSS data, and data from sources that we as MSPs typically don't have access to. So again, this was just the bottom line is, would this be beneficial to you guys? Would you like access to this? It's like I said, there's no charge for it. I just wanted to be more of kind of a community, help the community type scenario. So Andy, you had your first hand up first, and then Enrique.
Oh, so yes, this would be helpful, but I want you to consider taking this one step further. If we were to say, I'm using K-User 365 and these pieces, what elements am I vulnerable to that aren't being looked at by that part of the solution? So we begin to adapt vulnerability gaps or gap analysis of our security offering. I think that would also be a great thing to add to Write a Boom.
If I can do it, Andy, I'll try. I'm not sure I can with this database.
Okay.
The database is, although incredibly robust, as you're seeing here, like, 350,000 threats. So Enrique, what do you got?
Quick question, just today where we get our CV from is RoboShadow that we use for vulnerability scanning and patching of third-party software. We're just trying to understand if we would be doing double dipping by using that tool we already have and then doing it over here.
It's very fair, Enrique, and it may, right? It may overlap. It really is like, not so. This is my thought process, because I've worked a lot in scanners over the years. Without going into names, we're reliant on their database, right? And how good their data is. This is just it's like another threat source. So if you could say, hey, look, just as a double for you, it'd be like, hey, I'm going to set up my stack as a double check, shoot me a message, shoot me an email that could link back to this. And again,
But what is going to be my source on this? What am I going to tell it? I lost you on the very beginning.
Oh, you would apply. What we would do is, it's not done, but my point is, we're going to create the MSP stack where you could go, my PSA is this, my backup is this, my RMM is this, my endpoint is this, my firewalls are this, my VPN is this, and basically create a filtering where you'd set up your profile. And
definitely a value.
Yeah. And then if you get a notification, that the point being is, the data is more enriched than your typical scanner because it's enterprise grade. That's all.
Yep. No, definitely great value.
Okay. That's it.
And one source is never enough.
That was my point, is that you just, you're as good
cross-reference.
You're as good as that one. They have their sources. This is just another one.
Yeah. No, now that I understand how we're going to get the information, yes, I thought we had to like manually go search for stuff. And I'm like, well, but no, if we're going to set up pre-filters based on, like you said, our security stack or anything we want to monitor, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, that's what it would be. And then we'd have like a little community, whether it's Discord or a mighty network. Hey man, are you guys dealing with this? How are you working on this? That kind of thing. So, okay, good. That's all I got for y'all. It was awesome seeing you, everybody. Tina, I'm gonna have the Write a Boom underwear store open very soon, so I'll let you know when that's
I think the cats need to be away more often so the mouse can come out and play. This was a fun call.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Take care. See you soon.
Bye.